couple were the very first to share a gay kiss on Australian television. That happened in 1972. And in reaction, Bon lost his job. He was sacked. Yes, absolutely, shame. But I think that all of those events were really significant in changing Australian attitudes towards homosexual relationships. I think that their life story is really important, and just 4 weeks ago they celebrated their 50th anniversary together. So could people please take a photo and upload it to our Facebook page, because I would love to have a record of this, of Peter and Bon saying, I'm for marriage equality because we've been together for 50 years. Our time is running out. It is not fair the way that our government treats us. If you needed more reasons, I think that this is one of them. But here you go, I've spoken for enough. I really want Peter and Bon to come and say a few words to you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm Bon, he's Peter. Right, we've got that straight. At the beginning, we'd like to remind you of Noel Pearson's profound insight when he stated at Gough Whitlam's State Memorial Service on the 5th of November 2014. He said, "Only those who have known discrimination truly know its evil. Only those who have never experienced prejudice can discount the importance of laws that provide equality, justice, and inclusiveness for all." Thank you.
It's lovely to be here and to see all of you here. Just a reminder that camp, we were foundation members of camp, which started in 1970, so we're almost celebrating 50 years of the beginning of camp, the first Australian homosexual liberation movement. You know, and camp started with about 40 or 50 very committed people, out of which all of what exists now grew. If you take the current Mardi Gras parade, which has about 10,000 participants, for us it's mind-blowing to see that an organization which only started 45 years ago has grown to this diversity and magnitude. So please keep up the rage. Four weeks ago at the Glebe Town Hall, Bon and I celebrated together with friends, family, neighbors, our electrician, our handyman, all sorts of people from the general community, but also our own community, that we were 50 years together. On that day, we wanted to get married. And shame again on this dreadful coalition government that's stopping us from having the label we carry now as second-class citizens to be wiped away. Shame, shame. So as already mentioned, we appeared in the 1972 checkerboard program called This Just Happens to Be Part of Me. Now, I realized that the kiss we gave each other is a significant thing, but it has had much wider repercussions than just a kiss. I know people remember that bit, but we still have people coming up to us from time to time. In fact, there was a person at our party 4 weeks ago who lived in the country at the time. He was about 14 or 15. He said, seeing you two on television and just being an ordinary couple gave me such courage to come out and to feel good about myself. So thank you ABC for putting it on. Now, out of that program, poor Bon and myself, he got the sack from an institution which still exists in that building over there. It's run by white men, the most conservative institution we know in the country. They haven't changed for the last 50 or 100 years. And in fact, the current Archbishop of, the Anglican Archbishop of Sydney, he was talking about the plebiscite. It was a really good thing to have a plebiscite, he said. Shame on him, shame. They're not the only one, of course. There is another big building just across Hyde Park, also vested with conservative men. So after Bon's sacking, we got lots and lots of phone calls. He lost his job, of course, he had to look for work. This is 1972. It's what, 44 years ago, something like that. Our phone number became the de facto phone number for Camp New South Wales. So we used to get lots and lots of phone calls while he had to look for a job. People used to ring at night. So one clever guy said we should start a phone counselling service, which was called Phone a Friend. Eventually that changed into the Gay and Lesbian Counselling Service. It started in our front room, the house where we still live. That organisation, of course, the Gay and Lesbian Counselling Service, is still around, providing a most wonderful service, particularly for isolated people. So good on them.
We're doing this chronologically. Phone a Friend started early in 1973, and in October 1973, I was a member of the Synod of the Anglican Church. They were discussing homosexuality, not very graciously, you can imagine. But during October 1973, that's 43 years ago, I spoke at Sydney Anglican Synod, and I said, to start, I'm homosexual, like tens of thousands of my peers in Sydney and Australia, and millions of my peers in the world. I'm hoping that someday the society in which we live will allow us to assume our citizenship in a way it has not done before. I said that 43 years ago, and we're still waiting.
Now we want to appeal to the current coalition government. It's going to be I don't want to be too pessimistic, but it's going to be a really hard nut to crack to get them to come across. Because the research I've done over the years has shown me that there has only been one occasion where the coalition government actually did something good for our community, something positive. And that was in 1985. So they've got a long way to catch up. 1985, we had a immigration minister, Chris Herford, who at that time started to process applications from same-sex couples who had an overseas partner whose partner wanted to stay here or to come to Australia. Now he was the one who started. He was a father of 6 children, the member for Adelaide at the time. He was a very staunch Catholic. He had the courage to actually see that there was an injustice being done And he started, although it wasn't an easy process, but the possibility did become available for couples to be together here and to stay together. So perhaps the current white elites of the coalition government can look back on that brave man. He was wonderful.
Throughout our 50 years together, we've been conscious of the fate of our brothers and sisters in certain African, Middle Eastern and Eastern European countries. Their lives are blighted by the knowledge that if their gayness is discovered, or even just suspected, the state will officially murder them. Forget the gentle words, capital punishment, it's murder. We hope you all will spend the next 50 years, putting an end to this persecution. And we hope and pray with you that it won't take 50 years.